Well, one of the first jobs of the year is transplanting and moving around plants. The proper time for this is before the last frost in your area. And I just dig them up, like you can see right here, and move them to where I want, where I've already planned on. So once you get them all dug up, I usually put them in my wheelbarrow. And here I'm digging up some hostas, which are, this is a pretty big clump of them, so I'm going to have to divide this in half. You can see the roots go pretty deep, so dig around them as around it as best you can. I've even been known to step on my shovel to get more leverage. Actually, the last shovel I broke doing that. So just get right in the middle of this big clump that you've dug up. Some people might use 2 pitchforks and pry them apart that way. I think the best way is just to chop it in half with your shovel. Get the shovel in there and kind of twist it to get them apart. And then once you get it into 2 pieces, just pick them up and put in your wheelbarrow and carry it over to where you want the new ones to be. The most important thing is to do this early in the spring, because they need to have water, and once you dig them up, they can't take in water from the roots until they grow new roots. And so that's why they do it. Why you do it when they don't need a whole lot of water, like early in the spring. Once the sun warms up and they start growing, they'll need to be watered really well, and so it's just a lot easier to do it before it gets warm outside. This is going to be the new home for the ferns that I just dug up. So you just dig your hole again early in the spring before it warms up. Just dig a hole and just keep as much dirt around the clump of what you've dug up as you can, so damage the roots as little as possible. And then just put them in a hole about the same size. That's actually all there is to it. This digging tool that I'm using is, I think it's called a spade, but it's my favorite tool for moving perennials and digging in the garden. It seems to be about the easiest. I'm moving these ferns out here behind the garage, so that should be a pretty good place for them, a nice cool place. They like nice, cool, damp shade, so they should be pretty happy back here. And the hostas, they don't like a lot of sun, and so right beside this fence they should get Just about the right amount of sun, hopefully. So just dig a hole about the same size as the clump that you're transplanting. And then just set them in there and push the dirt back in around them. Here I'm going to plant some seeds in the garden. And so the first thing I do is just spade up a nice row using this is called a garden spade too, I think. I don't know why they're both called a spade, but just dig up a nice row, turn it over. We're just really loosening up the soil. And rake it smooth, pull the sticks and clods to the side, make a nice fine seed bed. Get my hoe out and make like a little drill, little area to put the seeds in. And then just gradually sprinkle them in there. for weeding. These are the tools that I use. A lot of times it's not so bad kneeling in the grass, but if you're kneeling in some gravel or something like that, kneeling pad comes in really handy. And sometimes it helps to do this the day after you water, so it makes things easier to pull up. This is about the worst it's ever going to be right here. But yeah, I just put them in the tub like you see, and then take them around, dump them on the compost pile, and come back. It can be just a nice relaxing way to spend the afternoon. I think it is important to wear gloves. And here's a new seed bed that I've planted, and I'm just hoeing in the rows. You can either stand up and hoe, or here I'm getting really close so I can see what I'm doing. And that's a morning glory right there. You probably don't. And there's a morning glory, and that's what you planted. So the morning glories and the maple trees, you want to just go ahead and pull those up. More morning glories. Maple trees, go ahead and pull up those maple trees. After a while, you get to recognize what weeds look like. So the best thing to do is, if you don't know what it is, leave it. If I don't know what something is, I don't pull it up. So just leave it, and until you know what it is for sure. And if the ground gets really dry, that's when I water. And I just go around with the garden hose and sprinkle the areas that are really dry like this. I put down some leaves here to hold in some moisture, and that really helps. And of course, it's a good time to fill up the bird bath. I empty that every day so we don't have a bunch of mosquitoes hanging around the yard.